Hi, welcome to episode 6, the one with the disability and living regionally. Today we've left Perth and we've travelled to the Wheat Belt, where we talked to the lovely Kathrynne, who's very bravely agreed to come and discuss with us living away from the big city and very limited access to help and supports, and the profound impact this has on her day-to-day life. We'd also like to thank her support worker Rebecca, who asked to stay off camera but has contributed hugely to this podcast. Please enjoy this special edition of Beyond Labels, where every story is an amazing story.
Don't you feel important? Like a celebrity?
You gotta be professional.
Yes, very
Well done.
professional.
So anyway, I fell off and I was fine. But I looked at my watch and it said, "You have had a fall.
Wow.
Would you like us to phone emergency services?" And I thought, how did my watch know I fell? That's amazing. It obviously
Very
just
amazing
measured-
technology.
Yeah, incredible.
Because the latest Apple Watch has that. So
Yeah.
you can put numbers, in there, who to call, or it calls the ambulance straight away.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
my
know.
sister had one. She was blind and deaf, my sister.
Yeah. So I think,
And I've just got a participant one, which the NDIS has paid for. So I managed to get them to pay for it. But again, it comes down to that functional capacity
Yes.
assessment. Everything comes down to that,
Yeah.
and then we go from there.
Do they do the glasses?
no.
No, I didn't think so.
No, but if you go to Perth, then, we can organise a visit to the optometrist
Yeah.
or PSM or, Specsavers, and they do the whole thing. Now, I was talking to my GP the other day and he said, look, I don't even go to the ophthalmologist, I go to the optometrist,
Yeah.
Specsavers, because with all the technology that they have there, you get a really good picture of how your eyes
Yeah.
are
You
looking.
do. I go every year and they do your eye pressure and all sorts of things.
It's probably what I need, because when I got these glasses, they just come out from the city and they bring a
So
machine.
a limited range.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
limited.
Have
Very
you
limited
got
service.
any private medical health?
No.
Okay, because with Specsavers you get
Yeah.
2 for the price of 1.
Yeah.
But I think that's only with private medical health.
I only wear one at a time, so.
Yeah, I love it because I get sunglasses. And
Yeah.
Prescription sunglasses, yeah.
prescription
I have 3
sunglasses.
pairs of glasses, one for the phone, one for reading and one for the computer.
Yes.
And the ones that I read with are no good on the computer.
Yeah.
The ones I use for the computer are no good for reading. And
Exactly.
everyone's telling me the same thing. I think it's because of, like you said, limited services maybe. Yes, I probably need to go to Specsavers or something.
Yeah, so we work closely with a physio that she is very, very experienced, and she does the whole program, exercises, and it gives you a program with the pictures and exercises and repetition, how often you need to do the exercises. So, it's really good. And if you need the rubber bands for exercise or whatever,
I've got a rubber band.
it's the providers and resources here are so limited.
They are. They're
So
very limited.
we need to, source you with the OT's, functional capacity assessment, source you guys with the knowledge and the equipment to keep going.
That's the first point, isn't it? Of starting point
Yes.
is the
yes,
OT.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 But someone who doesn't tell you what to do.
No.
Okay.
I don't mind. It's just it wasn't for my benefit. They were telling me it's different when someone says, "Oh, you need to do this because it's going to help you." When you've got someone saying, "You need to do this because I couldn't be bothered."
Yeah, because I'm
that's
telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to come out here again or
Yeah,
whatever.
so
Yeah,
how
that's the
long,
difference.
How long has been since you have seen an OT?
Oh, over a year.
Over a year.
Danielle was the only one I saw. Before that, before I ever had NDIS or anything, I used to go to the Corrigan Hospital and see the physiotherapist for exercises, but then COVID hit and they weren't coming out to Corrigan anymore, and they just haven't resumed that. So she used to just give me exercises to do to help me with balance and things. That was quite good, but it's not there now. So.
Not there now.
That's really sad that they've not resumed those services, because there must be a lot of people who need them.
Heaps.
Yeah, and you know, COVID, you can understand that, but you know, COVID's done now.
It was the same with the geriatrician that I used to see. I've just seen her again recently, but I had to do it by teleconferencing. They don't come out anymore. So yeah, I didn't realise I could do it by teleconferencing, so I can see her that way now. So.
Yeah, and how complicated it has been, you know, living at your place, keep living at your place with your disability progressing?
It's been pretty difficult. I've had to work most things out for myself. There hasn't been really much ongoing help. I live in quite an isolated area, but I love it. I'm happy there. I don't want to shift.
Yeah, no.
Not yet anyway, I might one day,
But you've mentioned things that I don't think, especially living in Perth, we would even think of, like the gravel, the gravel drive and how it ruins your wheels. And but there's things like that you don't, you know, and it's like, oh, actually, you have to think about the tyres.
That's
the wheel,
right.
You know, it's all those
very
things.
different
Exactly.
lifestyle, very
Yes.
different lifestyle.
And the maintenance that a wheelchair, I mean, we can take a picture of your walker, you know, because of the environment and the conditions, then they get ruined and need maintenance more often than, you know, someone living in the city.
That's right.
So, and I know you were looking for a physio.
Yeah.
But before you didn't find any here.
No.
So, and what do you think, Kathrynne, about, you know, having an NDIS plan that where you have funding that you can use to, you know, live the life you want and live whatever you want, and even having a funding from NDIS doesn't allow you to do those things because they're not providers here.
That's right. I have good funding, but I can't utilise most of it. Just there is no one to supply the services. I'm lucky to have Rebecca.
So the funding's almost like pointless, really.
Really pointless. Yeah. There's not much. Rebecca's basically what I get.
And if I might say, it was evident when we went through that phase with your PASS coordinator. We understand 100% about how the funding is used for travel. For me to come out from Perth, we know that's a really big way to do that, but we offered over here, and the coordinator, we said, if you can find someone local that will do it, that's not charging, you know, NDIS top dollar for per hour, the hourly rate, and is not charging per kilometre, or at least not as much, to get out to Kathrynne and show up on time early in the morning because she needs to be attended to early, I'll step back. And Kathrynne said the same. She said, I'll take that person if you can provide me with someone. She said, there is nobody. There's nobody in this whole Wheatbelt area that will attend to Kathrynne on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning.
No.
That will come from anywhere. That we were advised you're using up too much funding for travel, but either way, if I come, whether it's my own personal car or if it were a company car, we still need to put fuel in that car.
Oh,
we still need to insure it and register and put tyres on it to keep it safe for myself and my participants. And so that's a cost that everyone has to pay for. It does become a big cost 3 times a week.
It's a real big thing, the car too. Rebecca has a new car, a good car, it's 4-wheel drive. Out here we get a lot of flooding when it rains. You won't get through. You can't even get to my house unless you've got a car like Rebecca's.
It's this deep through from Yillering to Corrigan at certain times of the year. And you don't feel comfortable in a small car travelling.
Well, you won't get through. They turn you back. They have signs everywhere. The Shire will tell you don't go through there. You'll be washed away. Yeah, we call the Shire or we look on the website.
So I'm 100% happy to come out to see Kathrynne, but we did offer. We said,
Yeah,
if
we
you can
should
find
find
somebody
someone,
that,
go
you know,
for
if
it.
you want to cut costs that way, that's fine. And that's just another thing that we came up against
There's just no
with
one.
the funding, you know, because we are 100% aware that it is chewing into the funding on other things that Kathrynne could benefit from. But how do you fix that, you know?
Yeah, but if you tried support workers before, back, and you told me that they didn't show up, they didn't,
No.
you
They
know,
were closer than me.
yeah,
You know,
they
so-
were living in the area, and then they were telling you what to do, not doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I had one lady for a little while and she used to charge me kilometres, and then she'd charge by the hour, and then she'd put down extra hours for her fuel, but she'd already charged by the kilometres. Everything was wrong. So,
I think, I mean, you've been working with Beck for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and you're obviously so comfortable with each
yeah,
other.
yeah,
And with NDIS, all their funding is through reasonable and necessary
that's
grounds.
right.
And I think it's necessary because of the distance,
Yeah,
or lack of support
There's no
support
funding.
workers around here. And it's reasonable because it's actually helping your mental health.
it
If you're going
does.
to have different support workers coming on this day, that day,
No.
and you can't bond with them and whatever,
No,
you're not going to feel comfortable.
doesn't work with the
Exactly,
Parkinson's because you have
exactly.
to have a working
So
understanding
I
of the
think that for
Parkinson's.
those, you know, reasonable and necessary, I
Mm.
think Beck,
Yeah. We
Rebecca's
thought that
always-
was long, but
It's-
at one point we were really made to feel guilty about what our arrangement.
Yeah,
but
that's why we
imagine
go
if
on
you-
about it, 'cause it
if
was
your body
horrendous.
wasn't working and a separate person, a different person came
Exactly.
every day to change you at the swimming pool.
exactly, and you would have to
You wouldn't want to
explain.
swim
Yeah,
anymore,
that's
would
Every,
you?
right.
you know, well, this happened to me on Monday, and then this happened on Wednesday, but you don't because Beck knows.
Now, Rebecca's willing to learn about the Parkinson's too. She goes on the website and watches it when they have things on
We
the
think
telly.
through each stuff
Yeah.
for each other, don't
Yeah, we do.
We keep up with the Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Yep.
We knew
The
just
buddy
everything
system, yeah.
Kathrynne informs me. I look it up. Her children are the same. We all sort of just go, oh, have you seen that one where they did that and different ideas
Yeah.
and new medication and
Mm.
so
Mm.
we're not going in blind, not understanding. We're all on the same page.
Yeah,
And I've met Kathrynne's daughters, and you know we'll do a cup of tea, we'll go and visit, we'll do whatever because I need them to know that they can trust me with their mum as well. They're a very close family,
yeah,
and so you know they need to know that their mum's spending time with somebody that is in the same.
and if
form.
Phil says no, it's no.
That's right.
And
I
he
know
says yes
that.
to Rebecca.
I would never arc up at Phil and go, but this is the way it needs to be. You know, like I have total respect for the way that their family is run.
Mm.
And if you have different people coming in, they don't understand that.
Exactly.
You know? So it's
Exactly.
Phil's my
feel that she cannot do that.
Exactly.
No.
And you were, weren't you? You were felt. It really hurt you for a while, didn't it?
They kept also wanting Rebecca to do everything. Because Rebecca comes out and helps me with my social life and going out and takes me to meet up with friends and lots of that sort of thing. They kept saying, well, why isn't Rebecca helping you with the toilet? Why isn't Rebecca cooking for you? Well, Rebecca drives 3 hours to see me for a start, and she has to drive 3 hours to go home. So I don't know when she's going to have time to be cooking my meals and cleaning my house, and that's not what I've utilised Rebecca for anyway. I want someone separate for those things. I don't
and
want
that's
to.
how you felt. 1 minute it was beneficial, which we know, to
Yes.
have maybe more than one support worker, just to keep things flowing and keep things honest, you know, and also to have that backup in case I can't turn up. You might have someone else. You tried that for a bit,
Yeah,
but that's when it all just crumbled
Yeah.
because it's.
they can't be on time. They're not. There's two kinds of support workers, as you would already know. There's those that enjoy the job and are willing to help, and there's those that say, wow, that's huge big dollars I can make and that's what I'm after, and as far as the participant's concerned, they can go jump. That one just recently in Perth where he left the disabled man in the car, I've faced that as well, and that's, you know, whereas Rebecca's, there's nothing wrong with earning money. There's nothing wrong with saying I can earn good money through NDIS, but you have to do your job as well.
And clearly you're already, you're committed and you do, so
I'll stand up
That's-
for Kathrynne.
She does, she does, she
We
has
were
done.
at just a quick example, you know, same again, in an op shop
Yeah,
a few weeks ago, and we had a bit of a confrontation with a lady, and she knew nothing about our backgrounds, and it became a bit of a racial thing, and she started on Kathrynne. I just shot her down.
Yes.
Sorry, but I sent her into the other room. I thought, you're not speaking to Kathrynne like that. You might be standing here with a walker. How dare you? So it's across the board, not only from the
people you
professional
work,
side of
but
it,
from
but also
the public.
every day, everywhere you go. This person has a disability. We'll treat them like it, you know. So how dare you? That's our other thing was, but as far as the professional side of it goes, it takes.
I think a lot of it's to do with the training. You're a coordinator. I don't know what other, but like the last coordinator I had, that's what she did. I don't know what her professional life was before that. If they haven't worked with people with disabilities before, then they just have the office skills, if you know what I mean. Nothing wrong with that, but they have to be able to understand the participants as well as the money.
So I mean, regardless of the condition, disability you have, you keep being Kathrynne. You're Kathrynne.
That's exactly right.
First, then the other thing comes, you know. And what we want is to educate you about NDIS and how you can, you know, utilize your funding. And what is there for you to access to make your life easier, you know, and the people around you to be more, you know, enjoying the life with you more than being your carers all the time.
When I knowing Kathrynne, as you just said, you're Kathrynne. So by you as a coordinator knowing Kathrynne, that can only be of a benefit for her. To help her through her, you know, her journey with the NDIS.
Everyone is different.
Absolutely.
Everyone is different, and we have participants with the same condition as that you have, but they are different. You know, people.
Everyone is their own individual, no
Exactly.
matter whether they have a disability or not. So
That's
you
exactly
treat them with that
Exactly.
Yeah.
And regardless, you know, if you again feel like someone is talking to you like because you have a disability or, you know, you can't understand what they're saying, and you tell, I've got a disability, darling. I'm not stupid.
Yes, exactly, definitely.
I'm deaf in my left ear, and if I say I've had it so many times. Sorry, I'm deaf in my left ear, and then they come to my right ear and they like shout. And I'm deaf in my right ear as well now. Thank you very much. They speak slowly,
used to be fine.
you know. I'm like, no, my brain is fine.
I just have a bit of difficulty in one ear.
Exactly. So
I think when I made the decision to change coordinators completely was when the coordinator contacted me by email and started discussing what Rebecca made and started telling me how much money she'd made in the last 6 months and spoke to me like I was a million. And that's a lot of money. And I said to Rebecca, I said, I know what a lot of money is. I've had plenty in my lifetime. I don't work now. Things are different. But I had a life before my disability. And I thought it was extremely rude of her to discuss Rebecca's pay with me.
Definitely.
And I already know because I get the monthly statement.
Exactly.
So I can work it out anyway. But I thought, she cannot be discussing Rebecca's pay and her money.
No, because you already know.
I already know. You get your monthly statement.
Exactly. And you know, it's not about, you know, we need to, you know, look after the funding. We need to know, and utilise it in a way that is going to last for a year.
Yeah, that's
because
exactly
you don't
right.
want your funding to last for 6 months and then be 6 months out of funding because, you know, running out of funding is not a reason to review your plan.
Well, I said to the coordinator, I said, isn't that your... I was being quite reasonable. I wasn't being... I think she thought I was having a go at her. I said, isn't that your job to look after the money? I'm not... being self-managed because I don't wish to do that. She said, how dare you, don't you dare speak to me like that. I said, what do you mean don't speak to me?
How dare you? And do not speak to me like that. I've only ever shown you respect and I expect the same and I will not tolerate this.
So I can't say to you, aren't you meant to do that?
Because that was when we went through.
She told me I had to look after the money myself.
Up to Kathrynne to organise her plan, then it was up to me to organise the plan, then it was up to her and we should not tell her what her job is, and then
It just got too confusing.
she could have even met with us and said, look, can we review this? there's a lot going on, fuel or whatever. There's, you know,
No, she wouldn't do that.
Which after we started with you guys and spoke to the other lady before yourself, when she, Ali, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, she was good.
She crunched the numbers and said, this is how many hours you can do a week, go for that. You're going to have to make your hours work as well as your fuel. What can you do? We said, how easy was that? We just went, right, let's cut half the fuel out. So now we just do one way and we don't do home because that covers it for the day. And someone should have just said that in the beginning. We would have gone, cool, we'll do it. Just a bit of guidance would have been nice.
Exactly.
You know, not condescending and not blaming or making us feel guilty about it.
Yeah, that was
We just
it.
didn't
She
know,
blamed
you
us
know.
for everything.
That's how we were set up in the beginning when I was first
Mm.
introduced to Kathrynne, was this is because you're regional, and I think at the time Corrigan was regional remote,
Yeah.
so it was a bit more because it was a remote location, and so it was a bit more, so it was sorted out that way. But then it changed, but she never changed it at the time. We just continued doing what we were doing, and then many months later,
Of course, you were running out of funding because the category changed,
yes, that's
and you
right.
didn't
So then you
know.
moved back to Ullaring, which became right on the border of regional, not regional remote anymore.
Mm.
So that sort of changed as well. And
Yeah.
just a bit of guidance would have been nice rather than a bit of blaming and
Mm.
having to add up. It's right there on paper for anyone to see how much I've earned, and like you said, you knew
I already
exactly.
knew, and she had no right to
Um,
discuss that
Then
anyway.
she started saying to me, I want you, when you do your invoices, I want you to give this to Kathrynne every week and she is to sign it before you submit it, and all this like
We just
silly
said no.
stuff. And,
No,
So
because
then
you approve.
You were lying.
yeah,
You were
or
cheating.
like cheating.
Yeah.
You approve the invoices anyway.
That's right.
You know,
It's
and
access to them,
it's
yeah.
you've got a routine.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So you know you know from the top of your head what days she's with you
That's exactly
and how
right.
many hours.
Mm.
And if you ring Kathrynne on a Monday, Wednesday or Friday morning and you say, is Rebecca with you, I'm there. But sometimes it might be, I'm not allowed to say this, you might have to edit it. Sometimes I might leave half an hour early, but I'll do the 4 hours, but the next week I might be there 4.5 hours.
That's
so
exactly
we just do
right.
4 hours a week, and that's it.
And because you know each other so well, you
Yeah.
can have that
That's- but
arrangement.
we talk
You
about
know,
it.
it's give and
We don't
take.
hide
Yes.
anything, we
No.
just, and that's how it is. Often you'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a bit longer today. Oh, don't worry about it, that's fine, because last week I left at 22 instead of 20 past,
Yeah.
So that's just what we do. That's what works for you. We know it's 4
Yeah.
hours each time, and then there's the travel, and that's it, so, and that well worked within the amount of money that Ali worked out. I
Yeah.
think we're still under as
Yeah.
far as,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very good.
And
Yeah.
that's all we needed from the beginning. But I think the attempt was to try and maybe use some local people, but then I think the shock hit when it became evident there was no one to do it.
Mm.
And again, it goes
Yeah,
back
we
to
said
that local
fine,
And-
find
and
someone.
again-
You won't.
And again, if you find someone, it has to be someone reliable
Yes, exactly.
and someone that you feel comfortable with.
Yes.
It can't be anyone.
No.
And that's the issue. And here, being a small town,
Yes.
it's hard to find people
Mm.
that, you don't know close enough for them to know your personal life
Exactly.
and stay quiet.
Yeah.
And keep, confidentiality is a big thing.
It's huge.
And small towns,
Everyone talks. Yeah.
so you don't, and I've heard that has happened here.
Yes, it has.
And
I've heard that with a lot of that's why I come from Perth. I had 3 people. I had Corrigan, yourself in Ullaring, and 3 people here because nobody wanted to use someone from town. And that's why I come and visit, because I don't know anyone here. So I come in, we do what we do, and off I go. I go home, no harm done.
No.
No information is given out, and nobody knows what anyone's doing. And that was a thing, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
confidentiality. It's a big.
It's
it
a
is,
huge,
it
big
is,
thing, yeah.
and rightfully, like Nikki mentioned, one of the NDIS principles is reasonable and necessary.
Yes.
You have done your duty, as a participant. You have gone and asked what is there available.
Yeah.
You have felt
Yeah.
that, everyone is failing you because you're
Yeah.
not getting what you need.
That's exactly right.
So, what would you say, having the funding, living in an isolated area,
Yes.
so what would you say NDIS needs to do for you, do you have access to more, you know, resources, providers?
There are things they can do. One is try advertising locally in local papers and local shops. Also offering training. So a lot of people, they might think, well, there's a great ad in the shop window, I'd like to be a support worker. What do I do? How do I do that? Am I any good? Do I need to be a nurse or whatever? So there need to be lots of training programs that they can attend, so if they wish to be a support worker or a carer or whatever. I think they're two things that would really help. One, advertising locally, and two, offering them the training they need to have the job.
Okay.
And when those services do become available, you know, it's a long way to travel regionally, whether we go to Perth or even here, the wait time, I know it's horrendous everywhere, but the wait time to get into some of these places can be really...
Yes, yeah, very, very, very hard.
And like I say, it's everywhere, I know that.
Yeah.
But when you have a disability or you're declining and you need to see someone, you have to wait 6 months to see somebody about a condition that, you know, is starting to take its toll
yeah,
on
that's
you.
correct.
Sometimes time is of the essence in that situation.
Definitely.
And I've experienced that just this week and last week, trying to find an OT. I mean, I've just got a list of
People.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
exactly. So it is, you know, I
Vic, can you pass me
far
that
wide.
bottle of water?
They
Sorry.
certainly can.
Sorry to interrupt.
I'll probably drop everything now.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it does get frustrating,
Yes.
you know, and,
Oh,
and being on Kathryne's side, when we do have appointments like now, you know, it'll almost get to the stage when we'll have to lug her in the car to get
yeah,
home and
it'll be
carry
hard
her
when I
home.
get
She
home.
can't change. It's the timing of everything that we do is because of that.
Yes.
You know, so even for myself, talking to the geriatrician a couple of weeks ago, that was beneficial, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Giving some
was. That was
ideas
really
of
good.
slight change of medication,
Yeah.
giving her the go-ahead to, you know, to manage her condition. If I'm coming to take her out somewhere, as she's advised, maybe you can change your medication, take it a little bit earlier, do whatever. Now, we had been trying
Working
for
that
a
out.
long, yeah, well, we kind of worked it out ourselves, but we hadn't seen anyone. There's no one to see.
There's no one to see.
The local
There's no such
GP
thing as a Parkinson doctor in Western Australia.
Yeah.
I don't think they exist anywhere in Australia. In America, because I do the Michael J. Fox Foundation, they have motion doctors and Parkinson doctors, and the medication, they've got about 20 different medications from Parkinson's. There's one here. It's now the second one now that I got from the geriatrician.
Yes,
But you take Madapar and that's it.
And has it helped?
Oh, it does a bit.
Okay.
Nothing's going to help.
No, but I
Parkinson-
mean, has it made a difference? It's like rather than not taking it.
Yes.
Okay.
And even by changing the times, because she even said to herself, how long has it been since you've seen someone, wasn't it? And you said COVID. And
Since
she was
before.
quite shocked that nobody in the area had...
Well, I see my
attended to-
GP, but he's got...
Yeah.
He's a GP, he's great, he's fab, but he's a GP.
but he's a GP.
He's not a Parkinson's doctor, he's not a specialist.
He did advise you to walk more though for your...
Yeah.
She said, I'm putting weight on. He goes, you need to walk more, Kathrynne.
No, the bike from you is the best thing I've got for the exercise.
But, you know,
Riding
that's
that
just
bike.
ideas we come up with that we think this might help and that, you know, and we're not doctors by any street, but we could
No.
be by the end of it all.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the benefit of working always with the same
That's
person.
exactly
It
right.
is, because
you
if it was
know.
someone else random, they wouldn't know that.
No.
So they don't understand the up and down. I know
No.
if I'm in the car with Kathrynne and she stops talking, I know that she's hit a point and I don't expect to have a conversation all the way home. We'll go quiet. I'll just say, are you okay? You know, we'll get home and that's
Personal things too,
Oh,
like
yeah.
when I go off, I get a fuzzy brain and my tongue, which is starting now, I can't talk
Yeah.
properly. I can't find things, I don't know what I'm doing. Rebecca's quite capable of looking after my money for me, making, say to her, can't find my purse, it'll be right there, things like that. So that's, you know, Rebecca's honest.
And we do the same
I don't have any
routine,
trouble with her doing anything
changing
for me.
clothes when we get home into something more comfortable. And I know, get the phone and the glasses, I know how she likes them on the table.
Yeah.
You know, just little personal things. Put the phone that way so when she grabs it, you know, she doesn't have to keep repeating herself to different...
I'll pick up the
support
phone and won't know
workers.
which way to use it if it's not the right way
That's right.
they call it on and off times.
Mm.
When I'm off, I'm off, I'm gone. I wouldn't know what's happening.
So, and what would you say if, you know, after a certain period of time where, you know, your condition has progressed and
Yeah.
life becomes more difficult,
Yeah.
would you consider to move from where you live to access, you know,
Financially, I'm
therapists?
probably not going to be able to do that because I bought my house in Eulering and they're not worth anything. I would not be able to sell that house and buy another home with the proceeds. Nothing's worth anything in Eulering. You'd be lucky if you could find anyone who'd want. I live there. I have a very personal reason why I live in, and I can tell you, but not on film.
No, that's fine.
But I have a
That's
very
fine.
personal reason why I live in Eulering.
And then you should be able to, you know, allowed to live whatever you want.
Yes. So I wouldn't want to live in Perth anyway, but I am very aware from people I've known with Parkinson's and people I've spoken to that there'll probably come a time when I'll go into care, into an aged care facility. Maybe. My daughters don't want me to do that, my partner doesn't want me to do that.
And is there
But it
anything
depends.
around here, like, are the aged, there's one in Corrigan, isn't there, an aged
Yes,
care
that's
facility?
lovely there in
Yes.
Corrigan, and one out at
Wagen?
Will
Wagen?
Wagen, thank you.
Yeah.
Wagen's got a very good one as well.
Yeah, but you know,
But there are ones in the city too.
now that NDIS is changing, you know, a lot of
Yeah.
changes are happening at the moment. But you know, the idea is to keep people living in their own house
Yeah, I'd rather
for
that.
as long as you know you can possibly do it.
Yeah,
And
That
and
would
if
be
you
my-
need supports in your home,
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
should be able to get them.
yes. That would
But
be the best
that will
option.
be Beck moving in with you.
You can cook for me.
Rebecca's got a husband and I've got a husband, so that makes it very difficult. If we were two
Yeah, I'll make
single
sure
ladies, yes.
loud and easy delivering by then.
But that is a thing, isn't it? Because,
Yeah.
you know, your condition doesn't just affect you Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
No.
You know,
Exactly.
and so when they talk to Kathrynne about, well, where's Beck? Why is Beck not doing that for you? I'm not there at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not there at 10 o'clock
No,
at
but
night.
Phil is,
5
he
o'clock in
does
the
all
afternoon,
that.
you know.
and then you know she does an amazing job, but she's your support worker.
That's exactly right. My partner picks up the slack when Rebecca's not there. People don't know what he has to do
Oh,
for me.
he's
Everything. Shower me, wash my hair. Sometimes with the toilet in and out. That's can be very difficult.
Yeah.
So he does.
And do you have the rails in the
Yes.
toilet? You have okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I think it's, from my point of view, with yourself, Kathrynne, you probably agree, is that finding supports in the area
Is
was one of the
difficult.
hardest things that you did until you came to Blooming Supports.
Yeah,
It took people from Perth
yeah,
to find you the services, even the cleaner.
yeah.
Nobody here could find one. We don't have any, there's none. How long did that go on for?
That went on for over a year and a
Yeah.
half. And there was a company, which I'm now
That's it.
using, which Blooming Supports found for me in Corrigan that have been there all along. They don't do anything. They talk the talk and they don't do any of the walk. And it's all about them making money and they're not doing bugger all for the participants. And as for what a message to send to the participants in this area, open your eyes, look around, don't be afraid to stick up for yourself. You don't have to be rude to stick up for yourself, but speak up and look at other services. You come from Perth. You don't have to have this company because they're available in Narrogin or that company. You can have a company in the eastern states and not that you go that far, but you know what I mean. You can have a company that's not in Narrogin or in Wagen or in Corrigan. You can.
We spoke of probably that situation becoming complacent for people in the area.
Yes.
There's so many people needing support, and I don't know how they structure their, their priorities and whatnot, but it seems to be for yourself, once you were on the books for a bit,
Yeah.
you're almost forgotten about,
Yeah.
unless you made contact.
Yeah.
And this is probably negative stuff to film, but it's been your life, that's
Yeah.
been your journey, is that how difficult it's been to get supports in a regional area.
They're always saying they had new participants I'm sorry we haven't been getting back to you, Kathrynne. Sorry we haven't done this or that. We've had an influx of new participants. I've been run off my feet with my new participants. So you just push back. And they have astronomical amounts of people on their books. I don't know how you personally would deal with 40 people.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. But
I mean, you might because you've got a company behind you and lots of other people. But here there's one. And another thing is, I can't have my husband or my daughter get paid by NDIS to help me look after me. They employ their whole entire family, the husband, the wife, the 4 children, the second cousin, the third neighbour, the dog. You know, everyone they have employed for them is related to them. So you've got the whole family, if you're having a disagreement about you don't want her to wear, I don't want you to wear a pink shirt. You got the whole family to argue that in situation with. I don't know how they can do that.
how that makes you feel, you know, to be limited to the resources that are here when you wear, you know, not aware
I've got
that
funding there and I know what I can have, but it's not available. And I think a lot of it is the
that of certain things you were and weren't allowed to do, which we believed. We believed
Yes.
everything we were told.
Yeah, we did,
And
didn't
so
we? We
when
were
it was,
very
"Oh, you can't
naive
do
at
that.
first.
We can't do that for you. You're not eligible for that. You can't have that." Only to find that once you swap to someone else with more knowledge and probably a more well-run company, there's been things that you've had access to, or at least information that you're finding out now that you weren't
That's
eligible
exactly
for.
right.
And respite is one of those examples. Told all along, not available for respite, not eligible, sorry.
No.
And turns out you are.
Yes.
So, was it too hard to organise? Who knows? We don't know. But
So your message is, just because you live in a rural community, don't settle for
That's
second
exactly
best or third best or
That's
fourth for
exactly
what
right.
you're getting. You deserve
Yeah,
as good as anybody in the big
absolutely.
cities. Yeah.
yeah. Open your eyes and look around. Have a
And
look
ask
at there's
the
companies like
questions.
Learning Support
You know,
that are willing to come out here and are willing to give you the support, and do find the people.
and keep in contact. It can get very lonely regional.
Oh yeah.
You know, very isolated, and when you are struggling with a disability, you might be learning about it yourself, or whether it's, you know, a progressive one or medical, where it's become a sudden thing. It's very isolating and very lonely and very scary for these people, you know, and to constantly get different answers, and you can't do that, you're not eligible for that, we can't apply for that, your funding won't cover that, etc., etc.
What's it for? Why is all that money there for?
It is for you to use it, you know, in a way that benefits you.
Absolutely.
You know, and I can
That's
see
what we say.
how passionate Beck is about supporting you and helping you to be independent.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and she knows that she's not here to do things for you, but do it with you.
That's right.
Yes.
And to support, hence the word. I also never forget that Kathrynne is the boss. She is my employer, and she is the boss of her own plan. So it's up to her what she decides to do or not to do, or to accept and not to accept. If something doesn't sit right with her, she can decline, or she can look into it further and think, no, I think I can take this further and make it work. And then we'll work together. She'll tell me what, you know, this is what I want to do, and also let's have a look at it. Let's make some calls and find out what we can do.
Yes.
A lot of it we've done together. We've had little hints here and there and try different places, and you know, we've found some good stuff along the way, haven't we?
have.
But yeah, and other times it's been
What is the
disappointing.
time?
You mentioned
Have you got the time?
Yes, it is 10 to 12.
Oh, wow.
So I think
Can I have my bag, please? I've got to take
You
that.
take a tablet. You're a little bit overdue. So.
Yes.
Oh, that's all right.
Here we go.
So you mentioned something before,
Yes.
just to finish, how you don't want to be spoken to by the people and certainly not by the therapists.
No.
How they were talking to you.
Hello, Sandra. How are you today? Have you been seeing your doctor? Are you keeping warm, love?
I'm going to do that a bit louder in case you can't hear it.
Yes, and they just about yell at you.
No.
And slowly talks very slowly.
Just
so
do
that
those
you
cards
can
and-
understand me. Yeah. It's very,
All right, just tell them, don't do that.
No, it's
Don't
very.
do that.
It's quite amusing, isn't it?
We get in the car and if only they knew, like,
Yeah.
we just, sometimes we reenact.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you
we have a
very
lot of
much for accepting, for agreeing to be, share the message.
Yes.
And there's more than Perth in NDIS,
Yes.
and we try to spread the message that it doesn't matter if you have funding, if you don't have
You can
someone.
have $1 million in
Exactly.
No,
funding.
that's-
You can't
If you
really
have
the
the people
hardest.
to help
Yeah.
you.
That's right, you're going
You
to have
know.
an awful surplus on your NDIS plan, which is unfortunate when your plan runs out. Because if you were given a high amount to be able to access with your plan, if you cannot access the services, you're not using your funding, therefore they go, you haven't used your funding,
Yes.
we're going to cut you down, we're going
Yes.
to take 100,000 off you this year because you didn't go and do this or that. It's not because you didn't want to do it, it's because you had
There's no way to be able to do it. You can't.
I mean,
And that's
you've
correct.
met
You lose your
Kathrynne now and
funding
you've
then.
Spent this time. How would I go taking her to Perth to do a physio now? It's lunchtime. She's starting to fade now. How would we get to Perth and do
Yeah.
physio and then I drive her home by 3
I
o'clock in
can't.
the
No,
afternoon?
you couldn't do
I'm
that.
done.
No.
And any good that the physio would have done would have
That's
been
right.
undone
That's right.
in your journey home. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Kathrynne. Thank you, Beck.
That's quite all right. We'd probably say too much.
That's all right.
Yeah, we'll do that.
It's never too much. Never too much.
Good.